Welcome to the Deep Dive.
I'm glad to be here.
So today we're taking a look at a cross-section of today's news headlines.
Right. Sort of a snapshot, U.S. international, quite a mix.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea is to pull out the really key points, see how they might, connect for you listening.
Sounds good. We've got the Fed, trade talks, even a shift in diplomatic language.
Oh, and that North Carolina election finally wrapped up.
Yep, that too. Plus, May Day protests, markets, and even something practical on savings accounts.
Okay, let's dive in. The economy first. The Fed, holding interest rates steady.
But they're watching President Trump's tariffs closely. Investors are definitely leaning in, trying to get any hints.
So what's the crucial thing there, that balancing act?
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a tightrope, isn't it? They want stable prices, obviously, but without hitting the brakes too hard on the economy.
And tariffs complicate that.
They really do. Higher import costs can mean, well, higher prices for everyone. So the Fed's kind of pausing, reflecting that uncertainty. It affects borrowing costs, economic activity, everything.
Okay, and those tariffs, they lead us straight into the U.S.-China trade talks. Big ones resuming this weekend. Geneva.
That's right. High-level U.S. officials involved. And interestingly, China seems to be taking steps to bolster its own economy simultaneously.
What should we be watching for there? What's the key dynamic?
Well, these talks, they have huge global implications,
Right.
Progress could ease some of that price pressure we just talked about, boost confidence. But setbacks, that could mean supply chain issues, slower growth.
And China's moves. Maybe trying to strengthen their position.
Could be. Yeah, it definitely affects the global picture. What you pay for things, how investments do.
Yeah.
It's all linked.
Okay, now this next one sounds small, but maybe isn't. President Trump expected to start calling the Persian Gulf the Arabian Gulf.
Yeah, it seems like just terminology, but language and diplomacy. It's
Oh.
powerful.
How so?
Well, this shift, it aligns the U.S. more with Arab nations' preference. It could signal stronger ties there.
Influencing regional dynamics, maybe.
Exactly. Subtle signals can have ripple effects you don't immediately see.
Interesting. Okay, back home. North Carolina. That state Supreme Court race from last November, the Republican challenger conceded.
Yes, finally resolved. It took a while.
What does that tell us, really, about the process?
I think it shows the democratic process. It works, even if it's sometimes slow.
Right. Protracted, maybe.
Yeah, disputes happen, but they get resolved through the legal channels. It reinforces those systems, even when things are contested.
Okay. And we also saw May Day protests recently, all across the country.
Focused on labor rights, immigration, some federal layoff concerns, too.
Gives you a sense of what's bubbling up, doesn't it?
Definitely. It's a snapshot of real social, real economic concerns people have right now. Wages, job security, immigration. These are big topics.
Meanwhile, on a financial front, global stock markets, they're up.
Reportedly, yeah. And partly linked back to China taking those steps to support its economy ahead of the trade talks.
So it shows just how interconnected things are. China acts, markets react globally.
Absolutely. Actions over there can directly influence investment results right here for you.
Okay, and a final practical point. High-yield savings accounts. Still seeing some around 5% APY.
Yeah, that's the annual percentage yield, basically the interest you earn over a year with compounding. It's still out there.
In this climate, that's definitely something worth looking at, right? To make savings work a bit harder.
For sure. It's a tangible example of how current economic conditions can actually create opportunities for individuals.
So let's pull it all together. We've got the economy, trade, diplomacy, domestic politics, social movements, market reactions. What's the big theme?
Interconnectedness. It has to be. You see how Fed policy and tariffs affect trade talks.
Which impacts diplomatic language and market confidence.
And even domestic issues like protests or election resolutions are sort of woven into this bigger global picture. It's all connected.
It really is. Okay, so a final thought then, for you listening. When you see all these different pieces moving the economy, trade talks, even that name change, what bigger stories, what underlying trends do you think are taking shape? How might all this, separately and together, influence your view on what's coming next?
Something to mull over.
Definitely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.